Coast News right now.
Hello, good morning. Today is Thursday, March 1st. I'm Tony Capola.
And I'm Cassandra Jones. Time for a quick check of your Central Coast forecast as you're getting ready to head out the door on this Thursday morning, the first day of March, and we're starting it off with a few sprinkles. You can expect some light showers mainly north of the Central Coast, but if you live in parts of Santa Cruz or the Santa Cruz Mountains, you may see a few sprinkles today, but less than 1/4 of an inch of rainfall. Also, if you live along the coast like parts of Monterey, you may see a few sprinkles as well. But as for our temperatures today, not on the increase much from yesterday, still right in those mid-50s. It will be a breezy day today, though. Winds anywhere from 10 to 20 miles per hour. We'll be seeing partly cloudy skies by tonight. And we have a high surf advisory in our forecast this morning for waves 12 to 15 feet with possible breakers up to 17 feet. So I know all of my avid surfers are like, hey, that's some big surf.
Yeah.
Let's go jump in the water. But you are being asked to stay out of the waters because of those strong rip currents, no matter how advanced of a surfer or swimmer that you are. But today we'll start to dry things out a little bit before the sunshine makes its way into our forecast. I'll have all the details coming up a little bit later.
All right, thanks, Cassie. Well, students and activists angered by soaring tuition costs are planning to shut down the UC Santa Cruz campus today. It's part of a national day of action and is beginning early this morning. Central Coast News reporter Matt Dineshna joins us from UCSC with what's going on now. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, Tony. Students are continuing to gather here at the central entrance of the campus where I am located and the west entrance, I am told. This as they're beginning to build their tent city here, a tent university that they say offers a vision and an alternate vision for higher education. Now, students and local Occupy activists are planning to protest rising tuition costs, much like they did last year when they took over the Student Services building. You're seeing video of that protest now. Today, protesters plan on blocking all but a few vehicles from entering campuses, making exceptions for vehicles like emergency vehicles or healthcare workers, for instance. Some, though, including school officials, take issue with the nature of the protest because they say it denies access to classes students have paid for. They say legislators in Sacramento remain the audience that most needs to hear this message. They encourage people to contact their legislators. But to that end, students and activists are planning a day of action at the Capitol next Monday, March 5th. Tony?
What's the reason students are giving for setting up that tent university?
Well, like I said, they are offering it as a vision for what they want higher education to be. They are demanding accessible public education, and they say that they can have it here. They're offering classes, rallies, and speakers, and it'll also be a place to talk about their protest today. Tony?
All right, very good. Thanks, Matt. Traffic delays are expected near the campus because of this protest today, so Santa Cruz Police, the CHP, and Santa Cruz County Sheriff's deputies are asking you to give yourself some extra time this morning if you're driving near the campus. The university will update traffic conditions on ucsc.edu/advisory. Well, happening today, a Monterey woman accused of human trafficking is expected in court for a preliminary hearing. Officers arrested Ayli person in February at her Monterey home. She's accused of kidnapping a female runaway from the Bay Area and forcing her to have sex for money. Person pleaded not guilty to those charges. New information on the storm we had on the Central Coast yesterday. Local farmers are now saying it came just in time. They say there just hasn't been enough rain this season, and they've been paying high prices for water to be able to irrigate their fields. Well, that's why yesterday's slow and steady rain was exactly what they needed to keep the cost of your food low.
Water is an input cost into the cost of producing the crop, so that ultimately ends up in the supermarket, the price that everyone pays for the crop. So it's nice always when water doesn't become such a large element within the input cost of the crop itself.
Groot says yesterday's much-needed rain came just as farmers began planting crops for the season, so it is perfect timing. And now let's take it over to forecaster Cassandra Jones now. Cassie, how much rain did we get yesterday, and expecting any today?
Well, Tony, most areas saw about 1 inch to 1/2 of an inch yesterday across the Central Coast, and as for today, only anticipating a few 100ths of an inch. Monterey came in at just over 1/4 of an inch. Big Sur just over 1 inch. Salinas right at 1/4 of a mark, same as in Watsonville. Ben Lomond getting the bulk of the system at just over 1.25 inches. SoCal a little bit over 1/4, and Hollister only came in at 3/100ths of an inch. Taking a look at the radar this morning, you can see those showers very spotty, making their way across the central coast. You may see just a few sprinkles here and there, and those showers will linger throughout the afternoon before we clear things out by this evening, but only anticipating a few extra 100ths added on to the numbers that I already gave you across the central coast. Tony?
All right, very spotty. All right, thanks, Cassie. On to more local news. After multiple attacks by pit bulls in Salinas earlier this week, a group of pit bull owners are stepping up to defend the breed. In fact, the bully advocates of the Monterey Bay area, or BAMBA, are organizing a Save a Bull rally this weekend. They plan to walk with their pit bulls through the streets of Salinas in response to those attacks. In one of them, a pit bull injured a 57-year-old woman who was protecting her poodle. Another dog attacked a cat, and neighbors say they're scared, but BAMBA argues it doesn't have to be that way.
If you have a dog that's socialized regardless of the breed, you know your dog and you're responsible with your dog, that situations like that can be avoided.
BAMBA says it hopes this weekend's event will be a step toward changing people's perception that all pit bulls are aggressive and violent. If you want to attend the Save a Bull walk in Salinas, it's Sunday from 10:30 in the morning until 1 in the afternoon. It starts at Star Market on Main Street and will end at the National Steinbeck Center. A man is behind bars this morning accused of shooting his own dog because the dog disobeyed him. Zachary Baldridge from Aromas is now charged with cruelty to animals. According to Monterey County Sheriff deputies, Baldridge had just brought his chocolate lab named Duke home after he ran away Tuesday morning. Well, deputies say Baldridge first tried to choke the dog but was unsuccessful, so he grabbed a shotgun and killed it. He now faces a fine of up to $20,000 as well as jail time. On to Operation Jobs now. The Hyatt Regency Monterey Hotel and Spa is looking for 20 new employees. The process of hiring the new employees will take a few months. In preparation, the hotel held a hospitality job shadow day for students yesterday to give them a peek into what the industry is like. Now, if you'd like to apply for the Hyatt's job openings, you can do so at the hotel or on their website. In a developing story now, government forces in Syria say they are preparing to cleanse rebel strongholds in the city of Homs. The opposition says troops loyal to President Bashar al-Assad are gathering outside the city for a ground invasion. The United Nations estimates more than 7,500 people have died in the year-long pro-democracy uprising. The UN Arab League envoy to Syria is calling for an immediate stop to the killing. Well, up next, Cassie will have your full weather forecast for the day before the weekend. But first, it is tax season, and Central Coast News is here to help. So here is your tax tip of the day. Do you want to get some free tax help? Well, you can file your tax return for free on the IRS website. Community resources like the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance and Tax Counseling for the Elderly will help you prepare your taxes for free. Or you can call the IRS Tax Helpline at 800-829-1040. And you can get more tax tips on KIONrightnow.com.
You're watching Central Coast News on KION TV.